Good morning. Yeah, Don, I was checking quotes. They look a little weird this morning. Spready. All right. So, as the slide said, my expectation is the easy part is over as far as, this trend, the strength of this trend. There was some choppy stuff going along the way, but, it took out S&P here, took out the prior high. You saw yesterday was a consolidation day, normal, no damage done. Um, bar by bar, it didn't retrace deep into the prior day's range, so no big deal. It was at the top of the range, just rejected on the move up. So what we look for day to day now is depth of retracement, how deep prices might close into a prior day. The trend is clearly up. Does it close below a prior day's low? That could be the first signal of a turn, obviously something different than what preceded it. As just looking at what went on here, it was just a pretty choppy advance prior to this top. This top here is just erratic, overlapping price action and such. And so as this went up and that turn occurred, you see while there was a gap down, it turned out to be a continuation. There was no violation of a prior day's low. There was no close under a prior day's low. So part of the factory work now is to do that assessment on a day-to-day basis, and just see, do we get a deep move into close into a prior day's low? Does it close under a prior day's low? The first signal of a turn. And then we do the same thing across other time frames. Hourly trend is up, it's extended, it's likely to pull back a little bit or chop around. So the idea of experiencing, excuse me, erratic price action is just a normal occurrence at times like this, where buyers are not going to give it up so fast. They historically don't. Whereas as prices move down, and this wasn't an easy turn by any means, it was erratic and whippy and so on. But as prices accelerate lower, things begin to make turns that are more reliable. Um, sometimes it's a V, sometimes it's a W, whereas at the tops, they're more erratic and choppy. So that would be my expectation. Another thought about, I don't know how many, but many of the recent Fridays, after the first couple of hours, it's just been a bore. Nothing goes on Friday afternoons. It was last Friday and the Friday before that, and probably the one before that. And it's just, we're here in the green room and looking for something to happen. And yeah, summer trading. But it seems started a little early. And so, I don't know if that's what's going to happen today, but that's been what has been happening. So for now, I think some backing and filling up here, while some profit taking goes on, some sector rotation occurs, and don't get beat up. This is a time where you can become what we call the frog in the blender, where a lot of false moves begin and erratic price action. So, what can we do? We look for patterns, avoid things that are extended, right? Whereas you could have got away with extended a little while ago, and things continue to move. Buying extended now is more likely to result in little minor failures or, getting chopped up. So let's look around and see what we find. Let me look at SPX and strange quotes on TC there, but looks like 51.85. Let me just check here. Yeah, something weird in TC this morning. Looks like 52.60. That would make sense. Now, Now it makes sense, that number. Does it make sense as far as where that strike is relative to where prices are right now? Um, I'll get to that. And call 30 down a little bit. That makes sense just based on the current price action. Okay. All right. Below that bar is low, unfilled gap. So one of the things to look for with credit spreads is, obviously what's the distance to current prices? Could it go there? Um, are there reference points, support or resistance that would stall prices in that area? And so here we've got an unfilled gap. I think it's highly unlikely that's going to get triggered or moved down to today. Uh, just checking economic stuff, nothing going on there. Some Fed guy talking at 10:15. What's he going to say? Nothing, nothing new, unlikely, right? So highly unlikely it's going down here. There's an unfilled gap. It would be pretty bearish to get a move down there, especially a close down there. However, there really isn't any significant support. So other than the thought of it being Friday and likely that things are going to chop around most, and I think more than likely, and I think the upper half of this bar's range, give or take, I think this would be fine. And you know, the upper is probably going to be fine, but it's relatively close. So we'll see which way things get moving here at the open. Uh, Qs are up here a little bit. You just see there's nothing really going on. It's just consolidating right now, chopping back and forth. Um, there's a void down here below. It created some pivots. It's at this resistance area. So I don't expect too much as far as the markets go. Yesterday I pointed out that the futures did not make a new all-time high, yet the Dow Industrials did. What does that mean? Well, maybe it just means that futures traders aren't really interested in trading the Dow futures because it's just a supply demand thing. And there was better opportunity in the Qs or the ES. It may not mean anything as far as a lack of confirmation. That's just a thought. I don't know, but that's just a thought as far as futures go. Sometimes they lead, sometimes they don't. But clearly, the YM wasn't the contract of choice to trade. Sometimes it is. It underperforms and it plays catch up. The Russell, the small caps are underperforming, but they may bring up the rear. We'll see if they can make a little turn here. But here's an example of, here's a breakout bar. It was like a consolidation. This is what we talked about. Let me just go back here. Go back here for a second. We talked about here. It's not the same, but it's similar. Consolidation, breakout, resting period. Okay, broke out. It should keep going. Maybe this is just a little bit of a rest day and a continuation. But if it breaks down below the low of the inside bar, historically, that's not what happens. And so it's a kind of a heads up. It's not an all out, sell. But if you buy a breakout, and this applies to whatever time frame you're looking at, you buy a breakout and breakout by definition means it was consolidating, right? It's in an uptrend and you're buying a breakout. And you get a nice bar like that. And then there's an inside bar. Okay, no big deal. And then it breaks the low. It's like, what's up with that? You were resting. You need another rest already? So it's kind of like a heads up. Something might be wrong. And you just take that and see where it goes from there. So going back here, we see this resting period. We see a nice move up and an resting bar. All right. So right now it's trading under the inside bars low. It's early. It's really no big deal. But what if it closes below the breakout bars low? Clearly, something is not right. And just objective bar by bar price action and reading what's there in a, you know, an open-minded way. Even if you're long, it's like, hey, that's not what's supposed to happen. Price patterns that, are telling us what others are thinking, right? They're telling us what their expectations are. So when prices move up like this, and then they go sideways at resistance, and then you get a red bar that it's ignored, and then you get a bar like this one that broke a prior bar's low and it went up. It's all bullish. And it's like, why aren't you continuing to go up? So, not that we have an answer for that, but sellers, what we do know is that sellers are not that as aggressive as they should be. And so if this closes below here today, clearly something's wrong. Okay. Bitcoin, I think these stocks, this sector, things that are going to move with this could be the place to be. We see Ethereum starting to move today. And I think other stocks related to this, we talked about this a week or so ago, and this week, this pattern that was developing, this head and shoulders kind of a bottom. You got the igniting bar, the signal bar, it consolidated, still consolidating, hasn't broken out, but it's looking like it's going to go higher. Where is I put that? There we go. We talked about the pattern developing here. Looks like it should be able to go up. So, there are others that don't look as good. This is gapping up a little bit, but it may be able to start making a turn. And, there's the usual suspects, the stocks that trade with Bitcoin. Check them out. All right. Transports. This, I'm not sure if this maybe can play some catch up. Obviously, it underperformed. Something we'll keep an eye on, see what it does today. Stocks that I went through them yesterday. None of them looked attractive or anything. Making money, of course. But, I'm interested to see now that this has been able to get above these moving averages, whether it can hold on to this gain, maybe show a little bit of relative strength, or whether it's going to roll back over again. And so waiting to gather some more information about that. Interest rates. Talked about this. Well, we've been talking about this forever, right? And enough of this interest rate stuff already. But one of the things that we've been talking about was that, okay, this is, been moving up and now it's pulling back and the market's had its rally and now it's on support, major support level. It's in the area of these moving averages. The weekly was trending up. It's pulling back to where it could make a turn. And this is information that, knowing that the markets are where they are, they need to correct a little bit, sector rotation, so on and so forth. This is in an area where the markets that are very sensitive to interest rates because they want to see the Fed lower interest rates. They're banking on it. This makes them nervous if interest rates start to move up again. So why you want to keep that in mind. What it's doing, right? Right now, it's just on a spot where no matter if we were looking at XYZ and it was down here, we would anticipate buyers being here. And now we'd look for some kind of a more convincing pattern that it could, make a higher probability turning point in that area. All right, crude oil, it looks like it's bottoming out here. It's on support, right? Look to the left, it's on support, bottoming tail bars, moving averages are pointing down. It hasn't been able to get through this resistance in a significant way as of yet. USO, the ETF, you got these candles, it gaps down. You got a wide range bar, right? It's jiggling around here pre-market, but 200 MA, it breaks the pivot, flips right back up again. Buyers are anticipating it should try and move up here. So, of course, they're buying. Now they're going to wait to see, does it start to move up? If interest rates start to move up, crude oil starts to move up, interest rates start to move up, you know what's going to happen. The market's going to get nervous and things are going to correct a bit, and we'll just see how far it goes. It's getting late. SMHs, we were counting on this to outperform. It certainly did. It did great. Financials, they've kind of run their course here. So it's time to be a little careful, look for what hasn't performed, try and take advantage of those and see where they go. And that's what we'll be doing. And then, today and going into next week. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Adjusting GDXJ. Alarm went off. We are long it already. Yeah, Alex's Asher looks good. I just saw in the news that China's trying to bail out its real estate companies, but it's in a downtrend. Monthly's in a downtrend, but it's breakout daily, weekly, so has room. It's an ADR, so it's going to gap. So GDXJ alarm, that's popping. We've been in this since this breakout right here. So that looks good. We posted gold. That's gapping over the entry, so we'll have to watch a pullback. Roll. YouTube. That's about echo yesterday's high. Sure. Light volume. Whenever I see a 15-minute spotty, I immediately look right here. It's a buy setup without a doubt. It's extended on the weekly. It actually 100% retracement of this bar though is not good. And that got far from the 20, so I would not expect a new high though, Raul, particularly with the markets extending. AMD alarm went off. So we only have 1/3 position left, but look at this, gapping over yesterday's high. So I tightened the stop about right there, this little base, but I'll be looking to sell this in the strike today and 30-minute low, worst case scenario. But that looks great. Let's look at earnings here. AMAT was down, now flat. I was considering a put spread, but there was not enough juice for me. CPRT. All right, this is the one I said we could trade up or down. And now it's gapping down here. So 30-minute low, I like, and also a call spread. So if my option traders will help me. Today's Friday, so 0 DTE day, of course. Yeah, no, Alex, and you were yelling at me yesterday that it's not ready. Well, no, you said long way away from being ready. I guess long, you meant hours. A couple hours away from being ready. No, this is the perfect entry to start scaling. So yeah, I sent it to our Telegram ETF people. All right, docs here. We did a condor into earnings. We did the 27.5 condor and the $20 put condor. And so the call spread's going against us. So I'll tell you how we're going to manage it once I get more information. Flow. I don't see any prints. DXC 1570, nasty gap. Yeah, no, I like oil when you gave it to me. So this is a nasty gap, but it's a big one. So I would consider a 0 DTE put spread. If 30-minute high. I'll put that in the window. Yeah, you know what, Alex? The this one trader friend of mine, crypto guy, expert in that, he told me he was in boils for a very long time, and I can tell because he asked me my opinion when he's in pain. And on this day where it broke out, like his gap breakout, I texted him. I said it's finally bottoming right there. So, yeah. All right, T2 was down a bunch. It's recovered, but no pattern. 14 and change. Gap's too big. You'll have to watch a pullback, but I got enough to watch. MITK, no, I can't see a gap. This is ugly downtrend, daily, weekly. It's not liquid. We'll come back. Agro opening flattish, no interest. HTHT, bearish gap. So depending on how it closes, that's a breakout failure. RLX, strong, but no pattern. Although it's coming out of a coma on the monthly, so I'll keep an eye on that. All right, that's all the earnings. Look at these meme stocks, And there were, I don't know if he was a money manager, but he was on Fox Business today talking about whatever. And I swear I'll give $20 once they stop talking about interest rates ad nausea every friggin' day. Higher for longer for how many cuts? Who the F cares? It's annoying. They have nothing to talk about. But this one guy was talking about whatever. And then the meme stocks, he's like, yeah, I bought it with my son that I'm regretting. And I'm like, dude, you're a money manager and you're I won't even say it. These meme stocks. I said yesterday that you get what you deserve. Playing with those things, the pump and dumpers. All right, there's Asher. This Bunger, I don't know what's going on here, but I saw this thing popping pre-market. It looks like maybe a pump and dumper too, to go from $2 to $8 pre-market. You don't think that's a little excessive? Housing yesterday had an ugly reversal. So let's look if somebody wants to do it for us, or we can do it together when we slow down. I look for call spreads in this sector. Wow, remember we had a put spread in Beezer, and I didn't like the gap. And then when it rallied right here to the morning high, I got us out of that put spread break even. That's when you're happy. Even if you took a small loss or break even or whatever, and then you see it, tank, you feel good about that break even or small loss. All right, Ether. So I looked at I looked at Jets. Jets was a breakout failure, but look at American Airlines broke out. I got an alarm at 1490, maybe a buy setups. I always look at cruise ships with Jets also. RCL is the best of the sector. Look, I'm not going to blow it up, but I think that's all-time highs. And so I said over this 15-minute bar, let's sell a put spread. CCL is NCL is even worse. But look at this monster double bottom with, a pseudo little 1, 2, 3. And you can, the weekly condenses the data, but you can kind of see the W retest. So I said over $15, just that psychological number. Let's sell $14 puts for June. I guess had a Marriott alarm go off. We sold a put spread on that yesterday. Let me reset the alarm. Got an alarm here on Mister. Look at that 15-minute chart. That is a bullish gap using pre-market data. And I have a 1, 2, 3 on the daily. It's not a great void. And the puts, unfortunately, are too illiquid. I wish they would do it. I wish they would do a 20-for-1 split. Much rather be trading this at $75 than 1,500. But you got a sloppy buy setup on the weekly. Look, this is the turn. You got an inverse head and shoulder, gap breakout, buy setup weekly. Wednesday was the turn on micro strategies. So if anybody wants to watch this, it's just, an expensive stock, but nothing I can do about it. Hey, Alex, do you know if they have any, it does, I prefer not to be levered, but some of these expensive stocks, I think they do have a different symbol just to do what I'm talking about. A new symbol creates their own stock split to make it more affordable. All right, we're in trail mode on this MDT. My alarm just went off. Let's use a super tight stop here. 85.23 to protect our gains. $85.23. Then 30-minute below. I'm tilted 21 second. I'm dealing with alerts here. Shack alarm went off. That's a call spread. All right. Look at our docs tanking. Cool. All right. RDN alarm, but I'm not doing anything. RCL alarm, that put spreads a go. And 30-minute high, maybe even long. Shack call spread triggered. If you get the premium. ABBV Delta 20 is asking. Yeah, it's a bottoming pattern. Sure. I'd say 30-minute low. High, I'm sorry. And then I will also look for a put spread. Looks good. All right, I got to focus on this docs now. I don't think this market is open yet. All right, midpoint. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Close. Oh, never mind. I had the wrong spread. Yeah, no, these spreads are ludicrous is why. All right, so we just gotta. Yeah, the spreads are all over the place. All right, I gotta let Docs calm down. But when it tanked down there, that would have been a time to shoot. That would have been I totally would have got out. Um, all right, NVDL, low alarm. I had tightened the stop to protect Keene, so we sold a third already. So let's stop us 42.48. Yeah, so we're out of this. Yeah, let's see what AMD is doing. AMD, it's right there at the 50 and market's falling. Let's just sell this thing. We got a beautiful gain. And the only other thing is if you want to try to do a home run, 30-minute low, like I said, but the Qs are falling. It's Friday, so let's sell it.
Get paid. It was a beautiful trade.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we only got a third left,
Yeah,
166.
take it.
I did.
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, my RDN alarm went off.
DD, maybe a 5 minute buy setup, gapped above resistance.
Uh, yeah. All right, this hood's coming in. You mentioned Alcoa. Yeah, let's move stuff. Yesterday's low now. 39.78. ASO low alarm. Nice. Move stuff here. 5502. MDT trail stopping out the back third. That's DXC. DXC moving up. That was the big gapper. I said $15 puts. See. Yeah, yeah, that looks higher. You can see looks good, Sam. The yeah, gaps. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a half lot. I'm sorry, third. Stop 1982. EXC. Let me check 15 puts. All right, gold. Let's hold off for gap fill. EXC. $15 puts, zero. That's crazy. MDT trail stopped out. I told you I kept it super tight. Video trail stopped out. Told you I was more in management mode.
AA moving up.
What?
AA is moving up.
Yeah, I got my learns. All right, there's our AMD. We made 850 a share. Nice.
Alex, are you long LSCC or you are long LRCX?
LRCX.
Still in that? Somebody's asked me about LSCC. It's under its 50 and 200 MA and it lagged, but it's gapped up today. So far, it's holding on. Might be, if it holds on the afternoon, maybe something for a put spread for next week, Dan.
And alarm went off. Yeah, 15-minute chart. Yep. IBM was dogging it. Our stuff. I had an early alarm. Bid money. GM, we have a covered call. Our gold moving up. Stop yesterday's low now. 128.78. I instead of saying sell, I meant to say next target is, because it's not bidding now. Or wow, Mr. Closes like this. And it's not the greatest void, but that's the place to